my body just stopped breathing and my heart stopped beating. So I died there. I literally died. Hello YouTube universe, my name is Inse and I'm the founder and managing partner of 514 Ventures, a Los Angeles-based pioneer venture capital firm that's dedicated to backing the best C-stage frontier tech companies with at least one Asia co-founder. And I'm so excited to meet you all here through my channel on YouTube. If you've met before, you might be thinking like, hey, it's so great to see Inse here on YouTube, but he seems and sounds a little different. Unfortunately, you're not wrong. And it's because now I have this permanent marking in the back of my neck. So what happened? On January 28th this year, 2025, just the day before the Lunar New Year, I was at my place in Korea. I was closing this incredible deal. For that, I just had a couple of all-nighters back to back with series of calls with my investors, and I was about to have another one. So around 5:30 in the afternoon, I was ready for a power sleep before going back to my office. For some reason, I came to want to do something I had never wanted to do, which is to organize my shoes. So I walked up to my foyer, lowered myself to grab my shoes, and right then I slipped and lost balance and I fell. Normally it would have been a kind of unpleasant but laughable mistake because the fall was very brief, maybe a couple of feet in height. But unfortunately, that brief fall snapped my neck backward and messed all up my spinal cord. And because of the damage to my spinal cord, I couldn't move anything pretty much below my neck. Having my face down on the cold tile floor in my foyer, I felt my body was helplessly numb. I had never felt anything like that before, and that was very frustrating. Long story short, after attempting to get myself back up for about 30 minutes, I started screaming for help, and I was so lucky, and I'm so grateful that my neighbor heard me and saved me by calling 911, or actually 119 in Korea. And I was rushed to the hospital by the first responders. In that ambulance, I remember I was listening to the first responders talking about which hospital they were taking me to. So I thought everything will be just fine. We got to the hospital, I explained what happened and how to the doctors. And shortly after that, my body just stopped breathing and my heart stopped beating. So I died there. I literally died. They wired me to the life supporting devices and they wanted to put me into an emergency surgery. But they had to wait a couple of hours before actually putting me into the surgery because they needed my family to come and consent. So I got the surgery, but when I woke up, my family told me that they were told by the doctors that I would never wake up, and even if I miraculously would, I would basically lose all the bodily functions below my neck. Listening to that from my family, I was furious. I was furious not because of what happened to me, but because of the fact that they just labeled me as incapable of cherishing all the good things and beautiful things when it's supposed to cherish in life. You know, holding my baby angel and feeling her in my arm and tying her hair like every morning. So when I heard that, my first thought in response to that was, oh, I will just prove them wrong. And I was so confident that I would, because my life is just full of track record of me just doing it. I'm not saying that I'm better or smarter than anybody else or anything like that. It's actually exactly the opposite. Life has never handed a single thing over to me on a silver platter. I literally had to fight for everything. Every time I did really fight as hard as I could and learn my lessons. And especially for the past 2 decades, I had been privileged to work with some of the most amazing entrepreneurs and founders in their 0 to 1 year. It just taught me so much and really made me stronger. So, faced with this fight about my life and about all the things that I really cherish in life, my plan was to start an all-out war with everything I learned and everything I have and just win the... So, 11 months in now in this fight, I do still have paralysis of varying degrees in parts of my body, especially in my arms and legs. My recovery result is outstanding. The top 1% of top 1% to where I came from. Well, he will never live to see you richer today. And that's why I'm starting this channel. More than a couple of people have told me how they felt I should start my own channel on YouTube and share my perspective with broader audience. But to me, it always felt like a huge commitment. And I wasn't really comfortable adding such a commitment because I already have other important ones to my founders and my investors and, most importantly, to my baby angel. But going through this, I guess now I finally feel that I ought to share with you what I've learned in a hope that by doing such can help you, win not just in physical challenges like I am right now, but also win in life and achieve excellence. And on a very personal note, this experience also have taught me that literally anything can happen and I just might not have tomorrow. Of course, I'll do everything within my power to make sure that it won't happen anytime soon. But just in case, this should also serve as an archive of the things that I like to tell my baby angel. So here we go. When something like this happens, the default should easily be to quit. And no one could ever blame you even if you quit, because this shit is so hardcore. But I didn't quit, and I will never quit fighting until I'll become the #1 badass that's best recovered from this motherfucker. Because that's how I do it, and that's how I take on the world, and that's gonna stop me. So if you're like me, probably fighting your fights to become the #1 badass in what you do, give me a follow, and I'll tell you all I know and all I've learned about how to win. Together, we are going to be unstoppable.